Today on the Daily Meditation, we are going to discuss how to Zen your life. I'm going to go through lots of different tips to make life a lot more simple. I'm sure you, like a lot of other people, most other people in the world today, find that the world can be a little bit too hectic, a little bit too loud and noisy and busy, and that causes stress. And a lot of the time, you wish you could just slow down, relax, and enjoy life. So in this video, I'm going to share lots of tips to help you do exactly that. And if you love meditation and Zen as much as I do, remember to subscribe. So what is Zen? Zen, of course, is a school of Mahayana Buddhism that advocates meditation and living in the moment. Today, we also say Zen as in being chill, being slow, being calm. It's really about relaxation. And one of the core ways to achieve that, one of the main ways to Zen your life, is to practice what in Zen is called Koko. So Koko is the art of minimalism. It's about removing things that are unnecessary. And that's huge because the more information you put in your mind, the more likely you are to be stressed. When you reduce information, you give your mind less things to bother about, and you help yourself to calm and to enjoy inner peace. So the easiest way to do this is simply to remove any sources of information that you don't really need in your life. For instance, how often do you check social media? Insta, Twitter, Facebook, they're all full of tons and tons and tons of junk information. If you consider the amount of information of people, of faces, of emotions, of opinions, the amount of information that you're exposed to on social media is astronomical. If you actually consider how much information you're putting into your mind just by using social media, then I think you'll agree with me that if we reduce our social media time and our other screen times, it's going to really help us. It's going to help the mind to relax, to go a bit slower, and be a little bit calmer. And so one really easy way to be more Zen in life is simply to reduce your screen time, and especially time that you're on sites that I'll say, or apps that are all about information overload, which social media would be number one. Other ways to practice Koko and the art of minimalism would be to clean your house, to organize your place, and to remove anything that isn't truly necessary. So studies show that when we're in a cluttered or messy or noisy environment, we are more likely to be stressed. And the easiest way to correct that is to remove anything unnecessary and to reduce any sources of noise that you can possibly reduce. So this could be anything from simply cleaning your room, to removing junk that you no longer need, to getting rid of those letters that are on the table. Simply practice Koko by removing anything that is unnecessary. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, of course, we cannot discuss Zen without discussing mindfulness and meditation. So mindfulness is a really core part of Zen. Probably the biggest part. Mindfulness, of course, is about living in the moment and taking the time to actually appreciate life. So there's lots of ways that you can do that. One way is meditation, but there are also lots of other mindful things that you can do. For instance, you can simply sit and enjoy a nice cup of green tea and drink it slowly and mindfully. You can eat your food mindfully, practice mindful eating, which is actually a really big trending mindfulness practice right now. You can also just take breaks every now and again. Every couple of hours, just take 3 or 4 minutes to just sit and observe your breathing. Now, of course, there are specific meditation techniques that are used in Zen. For starters, the most important meditation technique would be Zazen. So Zazen essentially works by, we sit in front of a wall, a completely blank wall, so there's no distractions. We have the eyes half open, and then we focus on the breathing. Now, if you're wondering, well, why does Zen have the eyes open when most other meditation techniques do not? It's because practitioners of Zen believe that when you close your eyes, you're more likely to enter a kind of dream state where your mind is still active and you're just in your imagination. Whereas if you have your eyes half open and you're facing a completely blank wall, you're going to still be in reality, but you're going to be in a very calm place, somewhere that you're still going to be aware of the moment, of reality, but you're also going to be able to focus on your breathing. So that's why Zazen has the eyes open. Another excellent form of meditation that you can practice would be Kinhin, which is Zen walking. So in Zen walking, we find a simple path about, you want to find a path that's about 20 to 30 meters long, and then you're going to deliberately walk very slowly, and you're going to focus your mind on the sense of movement in your legs. Particularly, you're going to focus your mind on the intention to move, on the point where your mind connects to your body, where your mind, which is saying, move my legs, is connecting to your actual legs. So you're going to meditate on that. But as I say, you don't have to practice formal meditation to be Zen. You can just take 5-10 minutes every now and again to do something very slow, very relaxing, or simply to just observe your breath. So that's mindfulness and meditation. Another really important part of Zen is all about gardening and spending time in nature. So I'm sure you'll agree with me that Mother Nature has a way of soothing our souls, and Zen practitioners are very aware of that. So there are two main forms of meditation or mindfulness that you might like to try in nature. The first is creating a Zen garden or Japanese rock garden. So Zen gardens are quite small gardens. They're filled with white sand and a few kind of this style of pebble, maybe a Buddha statue and things like that. And then what we do is we get a rake and we just rake the gravel or the sand very slowly. And that simple action of raking the sand is very calming to the mind. You can also, if you don't have space for an outdoor Zen garden, you can also get indoor ones. And you can even buy desktop Zen gardens, which are just really small. You just get a tiny little rake with it. And you still practice that raking, and it's just really soothing. So far, we've looked at how to Zen your life, and I've discussed the importance of mindfulness and meditation, of reducing information overload, and of spending time in nature. There are two more things that I would like to mention in this episode. The first is going to be really important if you live in a noisy or busy environment, and that is Zen music. So if you love music as much as I do, I've been a pianist for 30 years and I pretty much love music my entire life, then you're really going to enjoy just sitting down, closing your eyes, and listening to some Zen music. Now, specifically, you're going to want to listen to types of music that include sound healing instruments. So sound healing instruments are instruments that produce a frequency of sound that is scientifically proven to relax the mind and to promote the parasympathetic nervous system. Some of the instruments, some examples, include a air hue, a harp, a Tibetan singing bowl, and a hammered dulcimer. So instruments like that are scientifically proven to help to relax the mind and to kick in our relaxation response. And if you're like me, you can also play music and meditate on the music as well, which is a really, really fun thing to do. But simply closing your eyes with some good headphones, listening to some Zen music, or simply relaxing classical music, like Mahler, who else? Chopin, or other relaxing classical musicians will really help you to feel Zen too. And finally, I just want to mention reading. So in Zen, there is this idea that things should be very subtle and that they should stir the imagination. So if you think about the way in which we get our entertainment today, it's very in your face. Movies, social media, TV, video games, they're all very sensationalized. There's not really a lot of room for your imagination, and it's I would say it's very aggressive form of entertainment. And a lot of people these days have unfortunately forgotten the good old-fashioned joy of just sitting down with a lovely book. So, my final tip to Zen your life is to simply go and get a lovely, relaxing book. Put your feet up and have a good old-fashioned read. And that is some really simple tips to Zen your life. I'll just go through the tips I've covered in this video one more time. So to start with, you're going to want to reduce clutter and excessive noise and reduce any information overload, such as the obvious example is social media. So reduce information overload and reduce clutter from the home. Secondly, meditate, practice things like Zazen, sitting in front of a wall with your eyes half open, doing mindful breathing, and Kinhin, which is mindful walking. Also listen to relaxing music, either by classical musicians or any kind of music that involves a harp, a erhu, a hammered dulcimer, a Tibetan singing bowl, and other sound healing instruments. Get out in nature, either practice Zen gardening or Japanese rock gardening, or you could also do forest bathing or shinrin yoku, simply go into a really relaxing natural environment, sit there, close your eyes and practice open meditation, which is where your mind is basically open to the entirety of the environment. So you're not meditating on a specific thing, you're just letting the senses come to you in a relaxing natural environment. And finally, read a good old-fashioned book. And that's it for today. If you would like to book a private meditation session with me, you may do so on thedailymeditation.com. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay sensational.